Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hollistics. I'm your host, Hollis Mahady, and you'll be joining me if you're joining me and watching for this episode of Holistics. This is episode number 5, and we're going to spend some time together. We're going to get to know each other tonight. You're going to get to know me a little bit more, but this isn't just about me. This is about all of us. So I'm very excited to be here. I look forward to this now. This is very fun and it gives me, I've always had purpose, I feel, but it's nice to have something to look forward to. And I'm proud of myself. We're on the day 5 consecutive. So I have decided that I'll be going live every night at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I started actually, did I start on Saturday? No, I started on Sunday, I think. Well, today is Wednesday. Gosh, where do the days go? It goes so fast. But today's Wednesday already. So, no, I think I started on Saturday then. So I did the whole week and I said, I want to do them consecutive. So I'm doing 7 in a row. But I do need that break for the Saturday and Sunday to get myself together and a little life work balance. You always hear that, right? But when you are an entrepreneur, which I am a business owner, and you never stop working, it feels, especially when you're by the computer. You have to give yourself sometimes, and I am not good at this. And we're going to work on this together because I'm sure there's some other people out there. Oh, I know there are. There's a lot of people. You work for yourself, you work from home. And if your computer's there, it's like, come. It's almost you can't separate it. So I remember when COVID hit and all of a sudden everybody's working from home and you're working in your pajamas and it's not healthy. It's not good. But we're going to work on that work life balance together here on Holistics and other things. Again, I am your host, Hollis Mahady. And I like to do the little housekeeping in the beginning. Today we are hopefully live streaming and broadcasting again on my Facebook page, the music page, on Rumble. If you're out there in Rumble, we have the X, which is the VOP USA X, and this should automatically be going there. But right before I was pushing live to go tonight, it said YouTube, you have to create an event, and I was already up here. So I don't think this is going to be on my YouTube. I do think it was on there last night. I forget. Did we check? I'm not sure. But it did go to Facebook music page. And I think it was on Instagram because someone came in here and they had a little Instagram logo. So they're obviously from Instagram. So we're figuring these things out. I'm supposed to be now live broadcasting on my website, hollismahady.com. That would be the best thing, I think, if that works, which hopefully it will. I guess Dan's going to check that. If that works, there's also a little chat room I embedded in there and all that. So if that works, that would be a great place to tell people go there. And that chat should come into my feed here. I have a chat room. Let's see. Oh, I have to connect the chat. Let's just try it out, shall we? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Live in the VOP YouTube. Okay, I'm live on the VOP YouTube. Okay, good. So we are live on the VOP YouTube. We're not live on the Hollis YouTube. You know why? Because I just forgot to go and set up another event. You have to do all this stuff, which is leading me to many subjects we're going to talk about tonight. Can you do all this yourself? You can't. And we are in the process of finding a solution. And I talked about it on one of my other podcasts. I'm very excited about it because this could be the answer to many of my problems. I cannot replicate, I cannot clone, I cannot duplicate myself. I wish I could sometimes because I would have someone else who would take care of all that stuff. You post it, you clip it, you do it everywhere. Oh, yay, Phil is here. Phil is back. I'm watching with my dog on Instagram. Okay, good. So is it the Instagram that you're watching, Phil? Is it the Hollis Mahady music channel or is it Hollis Mahady? I have like 3 of them, which makes it very confusing. I used to have a Love Zombies one. That one's still there. So yeah, let me know. And we'll see if I'm on hollismahady.com because what would be great is, like I said, to kind of be able to get that one chat in there and have so I'm not missing anything because I'm on Rumble, but that chat room doesn't integrate. So I don't want to miss people's comments. So I go into Rumble and I have to look it on my phone and I'm not connecting as much with you guys. So that one it's a work in progress. Like we said, Rome wasn't built in a day, guys. We've heard that before, but it's very true. Rome wasn't built in a day. Give yourself credit. I'm here. This is a big milestone, and it's exciting to be here. Good evening, Hollis. I am on time tonight. Joe is in the chat room. MAGA Dirt Biker. We love him. I hope you're having a good day or evening. To me, I am still on that horrible schedule. Like I mentioned, I haven't managed to. It's your Hollis Mahady account. Okay, thank you, Phil. That's okay, good. So it is live there. And I think that Instagram, I tend to talk a lot. Obviously, I had no idea my show would be 3 hours last night. It went like that. And I think Instagram cuts you off after an hour. I don't know if that's true, but that's what Dan said is his shows go long and he's always banned, so he can't go on there anyway. But I'm excited to have Joe in the chat room tonight. Thank you for being here, Mr. MAGA Dirt Biker. And yeah, I'm still on that schedule. I didn't manage to stay up through it. You know, I'm hoping that this weekend is coming, and that's the time when I started this work balance. I need just a day or two, and it goes so fast. Not live on your website, everywhere else though. Okay, so we got to work on that. Obviously, that little chat did not embed the right way, so it's not live there. But you got to make it easy for people. Because actually on our radio network, we're also broadcasting there. And I feel bad. I forgot to mention it. VOPUSAradio.com. It's a whole platform we built. I have a channel up there. It's broadcasting live. And it's a little hard to find there. Like you have to go to the live stream channel and then you have to click it. And you can't make things complicated for people. You can't. We are in a crazy fast-paced day and age where people's attention spans, like we've talked about, they are not there. And you can't, if someone has to take that extra step to click, like you can't, you're going to lose them. Now, if they go to the website and you're like, hi, I'm here, and they don't do anything, it's just like, oh, they might stay and watch or whatever. So you can't make things complicated. So we're in the process of trying to make things user friendly. And right now, our own platform is not the most user friendly. And I'm very annoyed and disappointed with that. But with that said, big things are in store, and we're going to make this a very easy and user friendly system. That's what we're working on. Back to Rome wasn't built in a day. So bear with me, and I thank you for being here. I am your host, Hollis Mahady, and this is Hollistics. So to kick off the show, what shall we talk about? I haven't planned anything. I have a comment of the day. We'll discuss that, and it is a nice comment because I said there's so much negativity in the world. We don't want bad vibes or negative. We need to look at some of the bad comments or some of the ones that are like this, because I think a lot of people face this, and I want to be real too, because I'm not one of those fake people like, no, only positivity here. Yes, we want positivity, but sometimes I'm a big advocate. You have to get to the root of those things that bug you in the darkness, and you have to address that because that is real. Life is real, and I wish it was. Like I said, when I lived in California, I had that experience where I was in the hippy dippy. Oh yeah, good vibes, man. And that is true, but it's not real life. Life is crazy. And it's like a game. There's always freaking things flying at you. It's like swat. You got to swat them away. You got to swat them away. And Phil over there, Phil will appreciate this because I met Phil in London, and he's watching the show with his dog. And what is your dog's name? Because we have to say hello to the animals. We have to address our friends because they could be in the room too. And I would like to say hi to my babies, Ruby and Pearl. They're probably hiding upstairs. And Jake, because maybe he's watching, because I think Smurglio is watching. And a big shout out to you. I hope you're doing well today. Better than well. When people say, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're doing better than well. And I hope you're having a good day. But to our animals out there, we love our animals. I love my animals. I miss them. They're with their grandfather, and he's been a savior because we moved to a new place, and it's been a very hard transition, and he's been watching the animals. And don't worry, we're going to take care of that. But when I mention animals, because I don't have my cats right now, and I miss them very much, I love cats. I love dogs too. But he's a 6-year-old Australian Labradoodle. Aw, Australian. and he's called Flash. So everybody welcome Flash. Say hi to Flash. I know you can't say hi to him, but you could say hi to him, but you can't see him. But hello, Flash. And to all those other little animals out there, animals are awesome. I never had a pet. Like I had a pet growing up. I had a pet, my first cat. His name Mr. Willie. I never had a dog. Never had a dog of my own until I met Mr. Jake. And Mr. Jake is Dan's dog. And when I met Mr. Jake, he's not really called, we don't call him Mr. Jake, but I'm calling him Mr. Jake. I'm addressing him formally here. When we met, when I met Dan, he had Jake, and I had just gotten 2 kittens. And I am saving the Tinklepaw story because it's a very special story, but it needs a special video. And I cannot do it live because I don't want to ruin my mascara. I will cry. But so I will, because the story surrounding Tinklepaw, it's not, this cat was magical, but the story is crazy. And I would love to get all you guys input or comments of the story of this magical cat. Because when I tell you the story, you won't believe it. It's crazy. But anyway, so when I met Dan, he had Jake, and we ended up, and I had the cats. We were living separately. And then I ended up moving in with him, and I had to bring the cats. And the cats and Jake do not get along. Oh no, my poor cat and Jake. You imagine you want the best, like they're gonna love each other and they're gonna be cuddling each other, they're gonna be sleeping on it, so cute, and they're gonna take the pictures and we'll all be big family and best friends. But what happens when the cats and dogs don't get along? Oh no. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And I think, Dan always says Jake's a big dog. I mean, he's not huge, but he's, kind of big. He's medium, a lot bigger than 2 little cats. And they are terrified of him. Well, one of them is. Pearl is kind of the more ballsy one. Cats just like people, and you guys know animals, cats, they have completely different personalities. My 2 cats are night and day. You know, Ruby is she's sweet. She's like, you could pick her up. She lets me pick her up and cuddle her. She'll come in. She's so freaking cute. And so is the other one. But they are night and day. And Pearl is just, talk about a catitude. Like she is the complete opposite, but she has her moments. She is one where I could pick her up once in a while, but she does not want to be picked up. And I like cats that cuddle, but she'll come up on her own terms and sit in your lap and she'll be all friendly, but it's only on her terms. You cannot just pick her up. Um, she's she scratches sometimes. Ruby's never bitten me or scratched at me. And the other one, she does her own thing, but she has her moments. She warms up. She's a weird cat. But yeah, so that was our animal story. But I love cats. I think they're so soothing. Again, though, and dogs are great, but I never had a dog growing up. So it was really, when I was younger, I had Mr. Willie, and he was a little black and white, like tuxedo cat. But I was so young, like I remember him. But my first cat was Tinklepaw. And then when Tinklepaw, she got hit by a car. That's why I can't talk about it right now. But when she got hit, I was devastated. And then it wasn't for a couple months that I adopted these 2 kittens. And one of them looks a lot like Tinklepaw. I know I was never trying, you can't replace a cat or a pet, but I just love that type of cat. She's so pretty. She's part Maine Coon. So I think, Tinklepaw was Maine Coon, but purebred Maine Coons are those, they get huge. And if anyone knows about that, it's Stacy, who's actually living in Maine. She's living in the house and she has a Maine Coon business where she's breeding these cats. And my cats are not the purebreds, but because I'm pretty sure they're just a mix, because the true Maine Coons, they grow huge. And there's like this whole breeding thing where they're true purebreds and they grow really big. But my cats were not like, Flash is like a teenage boy, doesn't want to cuddle unless food is involved. Yes, ew. I know. Oh my God. When you say that, I almost like gag because the same thing with the dog. I mean, humans, same thing. So it's not like with animals they can't just be like, excuse me, I need to go outside. I mean, they're just they're just there. And then all of a sudden you're like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me, And but yeah, I mean, I guess cats, Do cats do it too? Like, not as bad. Oh, but cat pee. Oh, no, I can hear your dad. Oh, Marvone, the cat pee. Oh, and Ruby tends to have more accidents sometimes. She likes to tinkle. And Tinklepaw, my first cat, she didn't do that. But here's the big difference. Tinklepaw was an outdoor cat, and that sadly led to her getting hit because she was a stray and she just ended up at my door one day and she was so cute. And I had her come in and she started coming in and out, and you can't take an outdoor cat and then just keep them indoors. I mean, I thought that would be cruel because she wanted to go outside and she was kind of like a neighborhood cat. And, but she kept coming back and coming back. And eventually she became my little buddy and my cat. And I loved her so much. But anyway, she was an outdoor cat. So when she had to go to the bathroom and stuff, we had a litter box for her in the kitchen. But sometimes I knew she would go outside, and she was so cute. And I would call her name. She would just go, and I would go, Tinklepaw. I just remember it. She would run down the alley and go do her thing. And of course, part of me was always worried because we lived on a street. But again, I didn't want to just take her in and not let her outside. I didn't think that was right, you know? So she would dash down the alley, but I would go outside and I would go Tinklepaw really loud with the little bag of treats. And she comes galloping down the alley. She was like a dog. Now, this was my first experience. I never knew cats were like this because you hear about cats that they're not like, some of them are aloof and they're not, but I guess certain types, like anything, she was more like a little dog, and I didn't I was so attached to her. She was like would follow me around the house. She watches everything. They go to the bathroom with you. They wanna know what's going on, where you are. And yeah. Aw. But Ruby looks a lot like Tinklepaw, and Pearl kind of does. Because they are, like I said, I think that they're Maine Coon mixes. So I got similar cats. Again, never to replace her, but I wanted the long hair cat, which gets on everything. I know it gets on everything. And then they get mats, and Pearl, because she would not let me brush her. Ruby, I would brush her. So that led to a lion cut. And it was the cutest thing ever. Now, you think these beautiful long hair cats, you don't want to shave them, but her hair's grown back now, I know, but it was amazing. Gave this cat first, I was like, "How are we ever gonna get her to the groomer? Because she's gonna, like, kill this groomer. She is vicious. She didn't want anyone to touch her. She's not vicious, but no, you're not gonna do that." I was in shock because I brought her to the vet, like, a few times to get her rabies shot and all that. I had to cancel the appointment one time. I could not get this cat in the carrier. I was crying. I was like, "Oh, we were moving." I couldn't she was awful. But eventually I got her to the freaking vet, and the vet gave me that, what's it called for the pets? Like the thing to not tranquilize them. No, not sedate them, but like to calm them down. And she's like, "Next time, put this in her food before she comes so you could get her in the carrier." And it kind of worked. And I gave that to her before we had to go to the groomer because I was like, we were in Maine and her hair started growing. I mean, not growing. I mean, her hair was always growing, but she had these mats on her. And like I said, Ruby was easy to brush. Ruby would let me brush her, no problem, but Pearl wouldn't. And I could see it was probably hurting her. It was like this big mat, and she had a couple little ones that I was able to kind of snip out. I have to get her to cuddle me, and then I'd be like, snip. Just, but the big one wasn't. And I think it was attached to her fur. So anyway, long story short, I will say the lady in Maine, I was in shock because I got there and I'm like, and I have video of this. I think it's on my Instagram. And the lady's like, "Okay, we'll get her on the table. We'll start." And she comes over. I'm like, "Are you wearing gloves or you need like a suit or something to deal with this cat?" And she's like, "Oh no." And I felt like I had to warn her. I was like, "I don't know. Are you sure that like she could be very, but I guess this lady's a professional. I mean, she deals with animals all the time. She must know." It was so sweet. It was like I couldn't believe it. At first I think, they're scared what's going on because you hear she had to get out the shaver and she's on this table, and they have that trick, or they know how to hold them by the gruff or whatever, and she's holding her, and the other lady, and they started shaving her, and I thought she was gonna go crazy, and she was just like her face was like but she was sitting there, and I couldn't believe it. And then and then Ruby went up for her. She didn't need a lion cut because she had didn't have many mats. She had me, and I was able to snip them out and brush her. So she didn't need the lion cut, but they did shave they did shave Pearl, and she looked so cute afterwards, even though, like, her hair is beautiful. I could just tell she was thrilled. She was like a new cat, and it was so weird because she acted after that lion cut, and, like, her hair grew back since, and she needs another one. Um, but after that, she was a new cat. She came to I have videos of it all too. I was like, "Are you okay?" She was purring, she was like, "Mrr, mrr." It was like a motorboat. I was like and I looked it up. I was like, "Is this normal after a cat gets shaved?" She was obviously very happy because purring is, a sign of happiness in a cat, I'm pretty sure. And she was just like rubbing and she was like a little motorboat and it was so cute. So there you go. There's the story of pets. So in the meantime, to the pets and to Flash out there, hello. We love you all. We love our pets. Pets are like little humans. And because I never knew how much a pet adds to your life. But I was traveling for so many years. And I could never, especially a cat. A cat is very hard to dogs are different. I mean, they're different because they like to go in for a ride and they like to go in the car. And you think, "Oh, cats are easy, get a cat." Like, you could leave them home for a day or 2. Then I didn't wanna leave them home. Like, they were so, like, attached to you that I couldn't imagine little Ruby by herself with no one there, So and again, cats are all different personalities. Some cats don't want you there. They leave me alone, be left alone, and you could leave them alone for a day or something, and overnight. You give them their water, their treats, or their food, and they'll be okay, But some cats, I think they don't want to be alone. They're like, they're little people, just like us, right? Just like people. Someday you're like, oh God, I don't want to talk to anyone. Leave me alone. But, but with cats, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. But anyway, yes, so in the meantime, my sister, who is probably not definitely not watching this because I don't think she even knows it exists. I have to send her an email and be like, "Hey, I'm here every night if you wanna tune in." My sister knows how much I love cats, and you know, ha I'm all over the place. This is what happens sometimes, is there's so many things I wanna say, but, having a cat, I never realized how much it adds to your life, and it was a mistake. Not and it wasn't a mistake, that's the wrong word. It was an accident that I got Tinklepaw because I was home, and after all those years of traveling, I couldn't have a pet because, like I said, they're a big responsibility. You can't just get a pet and then be like, "Oh, I don't know," you get attached to them, you gotta take care of them, and with the traveling and stuff, and I could never have a pet. I wanted one, but I would be moving in Las Vegas into people's rooms, and then you're renting, and then you can't have a cat, you can't have a dog because you're renting someone else's house and all that, and the noise, and they're barking, and so never had a cat. But when I moved back to Scranton, I thought I'd be there for a while, and I was like, well, I was thinking about getting a cat. Yeah, now it's all coming back to me. I was thinking about getting a cat. Oh, this makes the story even more magical. I remember. This is why it's so magical, the story with Tinklepaw. Maybe I'll just tell the story. I'm not gonna cry. Okay, so I got back there, and I knew I was gonna be staying there at least for a while. I thought, that, a couple years, and I was there a couple years. I was there over probably 3 years. And I was like, well, my dad had passed away and I left and I was sad and I was like, maybe I will get a kitty. And I remember now I got the cat bed and I was like, now this comes to about manifesting, right? Manifesting something into your life. And I was like, I think I'm gonna get a cat. I think it's time. I need a little companion. I want something to love and all that and take care of and stuff. So I went out and I got a cat bed from I think it was Ollie's that's in Scranton. Like they had these like little cat beds. And I got one or maybe someone gave it to me, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I had this cat bed, and I wasn't ready for it yet, a cat or anything, not right away, but I was thinking about it, thinking about getting a cat. I had the cat bed, and you're manifesting, right? You're getting it prepared, the space prepared for the cat. Maybe I'll go pick a kitty, or I was always about rescuing a cat and all that. So I had the cat bed, and then one day I go outside my door in Scranton, and there's this beautiful Maine Coon mixed cat, and she's, like, laying in the sidewalk. It not on the sidewalk, because I had, like, a house, and then there's, like, a little sidewalk and then another sidewalk where everyone walked down, but, like, in front of your house. And she was just sitting there. I was like, "No way." And I pet her, and she was so friendly. And I remember leaving because I was headed out that day, and I was going up to see my mom in Clark Summit because she didn't live there yet. And I remember getting to my mom's house. I was like, there was a cat out there. And I think my mom loves animals, but she didn't really have that many, and she didn't really like them in the house and all that. But she loves animals, and she loves them, and she's nice to them and everything, of course. But she's like, well, if you're going to take this cat in, you got to get her shots, and you got to get her all this stuff. And I was just like, well, she made a little impact on me. I was like, well, maybe she'll come back. And then she came back the next day, and then she came back and she was on the porch. And then one day I was like, "You want to come in?" And I just opened the door, and she just came in, and like she knew the place, she owned the place, she was walking around. And so then she started just coming back in and out. And I remember we had a pool table in our house. This is the only time she ever did it. And this was right in the beginning, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't know." Of all places, the pool table. That was my dad's, like, my dad loved his pool table, and we could never, when we were younger, we could never, put a drink on the pool table. It might spill, it might ruin the pool table. It was hard to get cleaned and all that. So we had a cover on it. We could never put a drink near the pool table. But the pool table was still there in nice condition. And then the cat's in and out, and I went upstairs or something. And I come down, there's a big wet spot on the pool table. I was like, "Oh no." She peed right on the pool table. I was like, "Oh, no." And she never did that again, because you think you might be like, "Oh, okay, maybe I won't have this cat. Maybe she'd just be outdoors." But I loved her so much. I was like, I was more scared, like, my mom might see her. When my mom came to visit, I didn't know what to do. I was like, "Oh, no." And we got it out. Eventually, the pool table got refurbished, or, a new covering on it. That was, like, a long time later. But yeah, that was Tinklepaw. But that actually has nothing to do with her name. And yeah, she peed on the pool table. And again, like I said, she never peed again. I think she peed one other time in the house. But again, back to indoor, outdoor cats and all that. So when I got the kittens, um, they were indoor cats, and they never went outside, which again, good, bad, but then they're gonna pee more places and all that. So I decided, I'm back and forth, because the Tinkle Paw story is so special. I will save that, about how she got her name and the connection to a higher power, and how she was an angel. I know it, sent. So that brings me to Willow. So Willow is a Christmas present from my sister. And this is I gave up a lot of stuffed animals. I usually have, like, all these stuffed animals around. And then when I was moving and stuff, I was like, well, you can't have all your stuffed animal collection. I had stuffed animals for a long time, and they take up a clutter. So I have a few, but I got rid of them. So I don't have many anymore. But for Christmas, I'm sorry, I got a comment here. Phil says, by coincidence, I was banned from the pool hall for doing the same thing. You peed on a pool table? One of those crazy nights, a couple too many beers, you forgot where you were. That's funny. Let's see. Anybody in Rumble? And if anyone else with cats or dogs out there, drop a comment in the chat room. Good evening. Joe is still out there. But yeah, I wasn't expecting this Christmas gift, but this is so cute. This is, like, really weighted. It actually, oh, no, here, let me hold it in front of me. Otherwise, she disappears. She's weighted. It feels like a real cat. And I said, this is some kind of, this is a cat that obviously you don't have to, it's not real. so you don't have to feed her, worry about the litter box and all that. But my sister got me this because she knew we were away from the cats. But it's so cute. It actually looks like a real cat. She has this tail and everything. And I don't know. I just had her out here. Sometimes she'll lie on the bed with us and I pretend. But so that's Willow. So that's your cat. But let's move on to another subject besides cats and dogs. But I think it's important to address them because they are a big part of our lives. And so let's move on to a subject. Now, who is excited here for spring? Are you guys sick of winter yet? Wherever you are? I mean, like I said, I lived in California for a long time and there were, there's no seasons there. So it was always felt like you were kind of on vacation. The beach was there and it was nice. I'm not going to lie. It was nice. And, I think the winters are tough and in some people aren't as affected by others, but there's definitely winters are dark and then you're not getting the vitamin D. You're not getting the sunlight. My biggest thing with winter, I mean, I prefer warm always. I love swimming. I love tanning, like lying out and getting the sun. The sun is healing. Sun is good for you. It's good for your state of mind. So I think people on the East Coast are definitely tough. And, you know, winters are tough. There's a seasonal depression with the darkness and stuff. And I've dealt with that. I always hated winter. It's kind of cool in the beginning. You get your December with Christmas and but by the time you get to January, or not January, by the time you get to March, where we are right now, you're like, okay, please, I'm ready. I mean, February sucks. January's like, you have New Year's and Dan's birthday's in January and stuff. So you get through it, but eventually you're like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? I'm waiting for the spring renewal here. The spring, you do your spring cleaning, you get to, and your spring wardrobe. I like to do that where I'm like, okay, let's put all the winter clothes away. I actually did that last week because it was like 50 or 70 here. The weather is crazy. And then the next day it was cold again. But I mean, I kept one out. But, you like to get, we're ready for spring. And last night, apparently, there was a meteor that went right over us. It was on the news and everything. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, I'm in Strongsville, Ohio. So talk about life. I even said in my podcast last night, every day's a gift. You just don't know. You don't know. We could have, if that had hit, I wouldn't be here. So of all places, I was like, oh, I'm landed here. Thank God it didn't hit. Last night I was like talking about destiny and I finally landed here. Could you imagine that story? It's like finally brought you here and then it got hit by a meteorite. So that was some exciting news. It made the national news for Ohio here. Yeah, you never know. You never know. But winter is tough. And I remember living in the UK, it's gray there, but Scranton was very dark. I mean, even right now, it was dark all day. And I had done things to, try to get through the winter. You kind of have to prepare yourself or you could go crazy. Like, usually when winter comes, I'm like, okay, I know I'll probably be inside more. I mean, people, you could do your winter sports. And in Maine, that was a big thing. It was like, they live for it because they have all that equipment, like, what's it called? Snowmobiles and skis and snowshoes and it's a big thing there. So they have all the activities and they're smart because they're keeping busy. But, people who don't do all those activities and it's freezing and you don't want to go outside, you're stuck inside a lot. So you kind of have to prepare. So that's the time, I do projects or I'm going to learn this song or, a piano thing or write a book or whatever. No, you know what I mean? Like work on something where, you're hunkered down. And it's important during that time if you can make it to the gym or, get your vitamin D. I had done light therapy. And this is funny, Phil. If Phil's still in there, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. When I was living in the UK, I would have to go back and it was always during winter. It was always dark. And I had this seasonal, like sort of sad seasonal what's it stand for? Something seasonal depression or disorder or whatever. And I was like, I need light. I need light. So I got one of those lights and it was a specific light that's supposed to, take place replace the sunlight because you're not getting enough sunlight out there. And it leads to like your pineal gland and all that. And you're not all that. And so I brought this light. But at the time when I was traveling back to the UK, obviously you're just having a suitcase. So, and it was something I was like, I got it in California or I ordered it or something. And I managed to get it into my suitcase. It wasn't huge. It was just, like this big or whatever. And I was able to put it in a box and bring it with me. And I was so excited. I was like, well, I'm preparing. You got to go back, hunker down. It's going to be dark, but I have my light. I'm going to sit in front of my light and get my rays every day. And I was very excited about the light. I remember I got it and I plugged it in and went, boom, it exploded. And I was like, what? I was so mad. But it was because the power, the power out, now, what's it called? The circuits or the voltage, that was it. I didn't have one of those adapter things. I was probably early in the UK when I forgot that in the UK and in the US, you have to use these adapters because the voltage is different. I was so mad. I was like, my light that I had bought just like blew up. I never got to use it. And I don't even know if I ever ordered another one. I don't think I did. I don't know. I got busy and it never happened, but that was a story. But then actually here in our house, I do red light therapy. And red light therapy is something I learned about when I was working at Inner Harmony Wellness in Scranton. It was in Waverly. And that's where I met Dan. But because I had always been into holistic health. And there you go, Hollistics. So that's why when I picked the name of the show, it's a spin on my name, but Hollis and Holistics, everything natural and other alternatives in life and for everything, for health, for movies, for TV, for reading. Like I've always gone the other path. I was never like the traditional. I was always like, oh, what else is it there out there? And especially with health. Health is a big thing because, the pharmaceuticals and the medical industry, not everyone feels like this, but they're trying to kill you. These medicines and the side effects and this, it's, they don't focus. They focus on selling you the cure, right? They don't focus on preventative because that's not a big money maker for these pharmaceuticals and everything. It's not big money. Healthy people don't make profit. I mean, how many times you hear this? The truth. So I was always very into preventative lifestyle. Like I was always going to the gym and juicing and taking vitamins and doing this preventative stuff because you're not taught that as much. And even a lot of doctors will say they didn't even take a nutrition class and they didn't have to take, or maybe they took one, but it wasn't really a big thing for them, the diet. And I've read so much about it. And just as food is medicine, I always talk about that. I've read so many books and I've learned a lot about it. I think it's very interesting because I'm very into, obviously, as you know, if you've been watching this at all, into healing, into natural things, into God, into spirituality and all that stuff. And there's so many like remedies and stuff that come from nature, back in the day before there was all these pharmaceuticals, if you had a cold or something, they give you garlic and all of this other stuff, that herbs and all these things that helped people. And then it was just like, now it's just like medicine. And so there's a lot there to unpack, but we'll get into all that. So let's see. In the meantime, let's do a little video, a little break so I could see if anyone's in here and any comments or anything on the Rumble. Let's see. Let's play something here. Here we go, guys. Let's talk about, and we could do I did a little guided meditation. We'll talk about all that. A little bit of music here. Music has always been such an important part of my life. It's been a constant, a lifeline, a force that shaped who I am. I understand the heart of an artist, those who create not for fortune or fame, but because the music lives inside them, because it's what fills their soul. That's why I created Voice of Freedom Records, not just as a home for my own music, but as a place where one day others can bring their voices to the world. In a time when algorithms and fleeting trends seem to decide what we hear, we focus on the quality, not just the quantity. We search for music that matters, music that speaks to the heart, that stirs something deep within us, that reminds us what it means to be human. Because at Voice of Freedom Records, it's not just about making noise. It's about making music that moves souls. You know, it's funny, when I played that, I had to compress these videos. This is boring, but for them to fit in here. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's like shrunken. I look like fat, and you know what I mean? It's just like it's different now, that video, because I had to do all these tricks to get it in here, because if you haven't been watching, I am dating streaming services, looking for that perfect streaming service. And it does not exist, but close enough, but there you go. So let's do one more here, a couple more commercials, because 7:42 already. I can't believe. You know, sometimes I'm like, I'm just talking. I know Phil's out there, which is lovely. And there's a couple people, and I know Joe's out there. But wow. I guess you don't really know how much you have on your mind until you start talking. Dan's dad said, I'm a Smeriglio. I could talk. So here, let's do another commercial here. How about this one? It's about my new album, or my Comedy of Errors podcast. I'm pulling back the curtain to let you in on a truly rare behind-the-scenes experience. Welcome to the Comedy of Errors podcast, your exclusive look at the music, the story, and the journey that goes into making it all happen. This podcast is for those who want to go deeper, explore the themes of life and music, and be part of something truly special. For just $10 a month, you'll get access to this one-of-a-kind community and help support the release and promotion of my new album. If you want in, head over to buymeacoffee.com and become a backstage member. This is the only place I'll be sharing this journey. See it all unfold in real time before it's released to the world. I can't wait to share this with you. Can you hear me? Yes. Here's another. Thank you for watching. Not that one, guys. We're not done yet. Okay, wait here. Let's go to this one. How about this one? Do you need some new tunes? Why not try the Hollis Mahady Music Collection? Need some new tunes to listen to? Why not try the Hollis Mahady Music Collection? As I move towards the new, I'm closing an old chapter with gratitude. To celebrate the new music on the horizon, I've gathered my complete past collection and made it available all in one place. The collection includes 2 full albums with my previous band, Love Zombies, Passion Fruit, and No Slow songs recorded live at Abbey Road Studios, the Be Honest EP with Love Zombies, Hollis original songs, Hollis cover songs, a bonus Christmas album. And this collection represents the journey that brought me here today and the doorway into what's next. To purchase the music collection, head over to hollismahady.com and go to the store. All funds raised go directly towards promoting and advertising my new album on my own label, Voice of Freedom Records. Thanks so much for supporting independent music. And we are back, and I am Hollis Mahady, and you are watching Hollistics. And yesterday, after the stream ended, I do watch my shows back, and Dan is like, you like watching yourself? And I'm just like, well, I want to see how it looks, how it sounds. And I realized yesterday, because again, we're working with this new platform, as I was showing pictures in the stream yesterday, I was talking while I was showing those pictures, and you guys didn't hear my voice. When I was showing the comment, I was reading all the comment and everything. And I'm glad I watched it back, because when I watched it back, it was silent. So when I show these pictures and I'm talking, you weren't hearing anything. So, I don't like it to be too silent. It gets boring if it's just a picture on screen. But when I was showing some of these commercials and I was talking about the lyric sheet and stuff and the comment I was reading, you weren't hearing my voice. So I'll show it real quick. Like, for instance, here's this picture here from the Buy Me a Coffee. If you are enjoying the show, as we're getting to the top of the hour here, don't forget, guys, you can buy me a coffee. And your support means everything. It helps keep going. It helps fund the show. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone so far who has sent a tip in. I appreciate that so much. Again, you don't have to do it. I'm here, but I appreciate it. And it really helps. It helps, makes things a lot easier. When we get some more funds, it's easier to pay for this stuff. I could hire help. Eventually, that is my goal, to hire an assistant. And there's these virtual assistants, and we have something in the works with VOP USA that I think we're going to be getting help. And it's a bargain thing, a barter, I should say. And where we're doing stuff for them and they're doing stuff for us. So if that works out, when it works out, not if, we have to start talking like when that works out, because I am not doing this forever, everything myself. I just can't. So when that works out, I will definitely let you know what that is. If anyone out there is like me, like I said, you're trying to start a business, you're an entrepreneur, or you have a business, and you will find yourself in that cycle of like doing everything yourself. You cannot go back, watch Holly's Playhouse episode 7, Introduction to Production, I think is number 7. And that was me a couple years ago. And I'm so much further ahead. But now I'm really at the point where I need help. I need that assistant, or I need that automated system to do things. That's what AI is good for, right? I always talk about, oh gosh, AI. But hey, you got to utilize it. Why not use it? Because they're going to take that huge burden, which is going to let me just create more and be able to do more shows and do all that, just creating. Because I love the fact right now that we are live, and I'm not, I'm just in front of the screen talking, obviously, but I would love to be able to, and I plan on doing this, do more segments where I'm going to show you my music studio. We're going to go out and talk to other people, and then I'm going to put those clips in the show. But the thing is, it takes time to edit those and get them all lined up. And that's the stuff I really want to be focused on. I want to be able to go and talk to people and then show you guys the interview. But that's a lot of editing, and I don't mind doing that. And I could focus on that more if I'm not spent the day before the show trying to clip all these and trying to post it and trying to set up Facebook live events and all this crap you have to do. So we're getting that system in place. But back to the lyric sheet here and the tipping and all that. Yesterday I was talking over my image here of the lyric sheet that you can win. So I will talk about it first, and then I'll play it real quick, just show you the picture of the lyric sheet. But if you give a tip, even if it's $1, if you go over to buymeacoffee.com, if you scan that on your phone, which I think is so stupid, because a lot of people might be watching the show on their phone, so you can't scan it. But if you go to buymeacoffee.com, I guess you have to type it in there, /Hollis Mahady. It's my name. You could go on there. You could do a one-time donation or a tip, one-time tip. I like to say a tip. You tip your bartenders, you tip your waitresses. When I was bartending, all I did was pour a drink and people always gave me $1. Here I am. I'm like doing everything. And, so I accept tips. I'm entertaining you, hopefully, or giving you something valuable. We're entertaining, and it's not cheap to do. So you go over there. You could do a one-time donation. And if you're interested in the extras, I do the membership. It's a backstage pass, or there's levels. And with the backstage pass, you're going to get access to my exclusive podcast, A Comedy of Errors. It's a completely different background. There's videos all about music. There's going to be all this stuff. And I'm actually going to be filming that on Saturday, and I'll be putting it up there. But for the backstage people right now, there's other exclusive behind the scenes. There's photos from my photo shoot that no one's seen up there. There's some other stuff. So it's just kind of that extra, that extra fan thing behind the stage or behind the scenes. And, a lot of people maybe just be tuning in the first time, like, who is that? I don't even know who she is. Like, why would I do that? But for those who maybe know me, or, you support, I appreciate it. And so if you do a tip, you will automatically be in the running for a hand-painted lyric sheet. All you have to do is do a tip. I'm going to put all the names in the little cup, and then we're going to draw one live on air. And whoever wins, I'm going to send you this really nice lyric sheet that I painted and made, and it's signed. And I said when we hit the goal of $100. And right now, I think I didn't altogether, we're with people donating in different places. We're almost at $50. So this is great. I mean, I'm as episode 5 and Rome wasn't built in a day, like I said. You know, it takes time for people to catch on, or if people like are enjoying it, after a while they keep coming, hey, maybe I'll send something or whatever. But it's great, So once we get to that $100, that's when I will pull the tip out. And this is the painting you could win. And I have about 25 or 30 of them. They're also for sale on my website if you want to buy one. All the money raised is going towards all my costs associated with releasing the album, and I'm doing it myself this time. I don't have a record label or management. I don't have all that stuff. So it's coming out of my pocket. And so that's what this is for. So I'm selling that. I'm selling my old music collection, which is all my music in one place. That was the video I just showed you. There's over 30 songs in there, and it's $20. But again, all that money, any of the money, I should say all of it, there's not much yet, but any money I make will be used for promoting the album. And here's the picture of that lyric sheet. You won't hear my voice. I'm just going to play it quick. There you go. That's the sheet. So I have, like I said, I have about 25 or 30 of them. And then I don't know if I'll do them again, maybe something else. Um, I'm also doing a nice like scrapbook. I started on day 1 when I did my photo shoot. I got my makeup artist to sign it, my photographer, and I like doing these little like a time capsule scrapbook of the album as it unfolds. I even have my fake eyelashes I saved from the photo shoot. I can put them in there, and and that's for me, but I might do 2 or 3 other ones too. And I did that actually the first time with the Love Zombies. I did these scrapbooks and people bought them, and they bought them ahead of time, and that money gave me the money to help make the album and all that. So, like I said, I've been missing MIA for like 10 years. I feel like it's starting over. Nobody remembers, or life has moved on, and so it's just about getting back out there and, reconnecting with some of those people who might be interested in the evolution of Hollis. Who was that girl from the Love Zombies? Remember her? But I'm still here and I'm back, better than ever, with more wisdom, as you know, for a variety of topics, from holistic health to dating and relationships. I've had many bad relationships, and I've finally found a good one, and I'm very happy about it. So now I feel like I have the wisdom when I look back at my younger self, like, oh, what were you thinking? It's easier once you're out of it and you're not in it anymore. But I always feel bad for women when I see them in bad relationships. I'm like, I've been there. I know. And the worst, I mean, obviously the really abusive ones. And it's like you keep going back to them, you keep going back to them. And yeah, it's hard. It's like those kind of relationships are messed up, right? Anybody single out there? Any single or married in the chat room here? What do we got? Anybody in Rumble? Single, married, any relationship horror stories you want to talk about here? Let's see here. I am on Rumble. Anybody in the Rumble chat room? Who we got here? Who we got, guys? Let's see. We have. Is Joe still in there? Maybe Joe's in there. Again, this is like. Oh, here we go. Episode. Okay. So no comments yet. Womp womp. That's all right. I could talk to myself. I know there's at least a few people out there watching. Oh, but you know what, Dan? Check on the Rumble. It still says starting. It doesn't look like it's playing. It just says starting. Sorry guys, this is in real time. So let's pause and have a drink. Did everyone have a good St. Patrick's Day yesterday? Now, I was drinking the prebiotic soda last night, and it was kind of good. It was different. So tonight I have this sparkling ice, 0 sugar, orange cream. Now, you go in those ruts, not ruts in life, but you get in your like healthy phase, and then you kind of like, you're not planning as much, and then you just buy stuff and you're not. That's how I am. And then I'll be like, okay, I got to throw this out and then go healthy shopping and try to start again and not have this stuff because one of my weaknesses is soda, and I drink diet soda, and I know that's not good because it has I always say it wrong, aspartame in it and caramel color and chemicals. It's really not good for you. For a long time, instead of soda, I would have the sparkling water. I would drink Pellegrino or the flavored water, but anything with natural flavors. Can't see my hands here. Quote unquote natural flavors. That's something that is said. It's with the health organization, the World Health Organization stuff. They label things that they could get away with it, but you don't really know what that is. It's like a code for it may not be that healthy still. So even though it says healthy and natural flavors and all that, it's not. Not always. So anyway, but still you could eat healthy all your life and you could still, there's fate and all that. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Um when your time's up, your time's up. The people believe in that fate. You just don't know. Is it predestined when you're going to go? Because there are people who smoke their whole life. They drink like a fish and they live till they're 90. They never get lung cancer. They never get anything. And then there's also people who you heard the stories, I'm sure. It's just like, you just never know. I mean, so there's always that you deprive yourself the pleasures of life. Oh, should you just go ahead and eat it? I think it's just a little bit of both. You can be as healthy as you can. Like you hear people who are marathon runners and they always watch their diet and then they had a heart attack. You just don't know. Not to say go ahead and destroy your body and never care about what you eat and all that. So I think there's both. I think like anything, I think the point is you really can't control what's going to happen because especially in this day and age when there is chemicals in the or chemtrails and there's stuff in the water and there's these talk about the what's it called, not x-rays, but like the rays from all this electromagnetic fields and all this different technology that we never had in the generations of like our parents like a long time ago. There weren't all these phones and you have your phone by your ear all the time. Who knows in 10, 15 years what that's going to do? These are new things that I mean the phones aren't new, but I remember my dad was always like don't keep it by your ear, you're going to get a brain tumor. I mean, I don't know. And we have them here all the time. You hear that about earbuds. I remember reading something and I was like don't put the earbuds those Beats and stuff, and I had them and I stopped using them and I was just using the ones with the wire instead. I don't know. The point is not to be scary or to be negative and all that. It's just that you could live two ways. There's people you see who are just like, oh, I don't know, whatever, have a good time all the time. And because you just don't know. Those people enjoy life while you can, you know? And then there's other times where you're just trying to prevent the inevitable. Like, oh my God, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I remember meeting some guy, he said his wife was like really crazy. And I know that, you could be like that. Like, oh my God, that has something in it. That has chemicals. That has that. I can't do that. I can't do that. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just like that you're held and you get hit by a car. Fate is fate. You just don't know. Or you could get hit by a meteorite. Like last night, we could have all been dead. And luckily, it didn't hit. It went past Ohio. So I don't know. Every day is a gift, I guess. I do say that, not I guess. Every day is. The humdrum of life sometimes is just like, oh, you forget about these things. And so let me take another little commercial break here because I want to see what's going on Rumble here. Because I don't think that's playing on there. It's just my intro going on and on. Is anybody in the live chat in Rumble? Maga Dirt Biker, do you see the show? It's not working. Oh, you're working at, okay, you're watching on the VOP app, but there's no chat there. So I go to, oh man. See what happens? That sucks. All right, let's go to commercial real quick here. I'm so sorry. This is what happens. I'm manning the stage, and this is all happening in real time. Is Phil still in the chat room? It was lovely in the UK here today. You say I was walking around in just a t-shirt. That's awesome. It does. It's nice. It's nice when you finally get one of those nice days. And again, you got to keep out those galoshes and the wellies, as they say in the UK, your boots, because it could be like freezing tomorrow and you're like, oh no, I wish I didn't put them away. I think when you get to what, like May, June, I'm like, you're safe to put this stuff away. Not in Scranton. If it was always cold, I remember on Father's Day when it's in June, we had the heat on. It was freezing. So those you get those little windows. I think maybe by July you're safe to put your coat away for a couple months. All right, let's go over here. Let's go to media and play a little commercial. I want to see what's going on in Rumble. And remember, guys, if you're feeling generous, go to buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. Send me a coffee. As I said, as I used to be a bartender, I just had to pour you a drink. And now I'm pouring you my soul and my heart and my music. So is that worth $1? Let's see. Here we go. I forgot. No one can hear me. I'm talking, but you can't hear me. Quiet. Buy me a coffee. I like mocha choca lattes. I also could do with a good peppermint latte. I love peppermint. Occasionally, I'll go for an herbal tea. And on those hot summer days, they're a little bit extra. They're like $5.50. I get a frappuccino with whipped cream. That's $5.75. Just having a little bit of fun with you guys. This is actually pretty good. Ooh. Okay, let's go over to commercial. I keep saying we're going to do that and I didn't do it. Media. See, I need a producer. I deserve a producer. Just in case. You want to buy me a mocha choca hoka latte. Are you enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to support what I'm building, you can buy me a coffee. Every bit of support helps me keep this podcast going and release my music independently. You can leave a one-time tip or become a member for a few dollars a month and unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage you won't find anywhere else. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady or scan the code you see on the screen. And just in case you need something done for your business, that's another way I work and make money, is making lovely commercials and intros. So if you have a business that needs a catchy commercial or a voiceover that is a real human and not an AI robot, I strongly suggest you head over to my website at hollismahady.com, go to creative services, and you can browse. And I have them all offered there, where you can pick something if you need some promotion or a video made for your website or for your business or for whatever it is you're doing. Check it out. Hi guys, I'm Hollis and I'm here to bring your creative vision to life. Whether it's designing your video thumbnails or editing your content or recording voiceovers for commercials, I've got you covered. I'm part of the in-house production team at Voice of the People U.S.A. Radio and Television Network, and over the last 6 years, I taught myself everything from production to post-editing and beyond. I know exactly what it feels like to be stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to even begin. And that's exactly why I now offer these services to other people as well. So if you have a project you're working on, you can hit the link below where you can see examples of my work, from commercials I've produced to voiceovers and more. And if you like what you see and think I can help with what you're looking for, feel free to reach out. We can create something awesome together. Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry. I have Willow here. I was just petting my kitty over here. So should we get into the comments of the day? As I said, we have a positive comment. I think that deserves a round of applause. A positive comment, you say? We need more of those in the world, guys. Okay, let's get into the comment of the day. All right, and I have it up here. I'm prepared. I'm prepared with my comment of the day. And it's not a very long comment because the other really nice comment from the same person I could not find because I don't remember what social media it was on. If it was on TikTok, if it was on YouTube, I was looking for it. I could not find it. But this guy that I'm going to talk about is the example of someone who just makes your day. And like I said, the comment itself is not the one I couldn't find the. Oh, not that one. That was yesterday. That was not the comment. That was what to do and then what not to do. So what not to do was yesterday. Um, but the one to do, here we go. And I'm gonna, like I said, you're not gonna be able to hear me read it, but just take a look real quick and then I'll talk about it. Okay, so this was from Carrie's yoga journey, and he LFG here for this. Right? You're like, what is that comment? What does that mean? I had to ask him, I was like, what does LFG mean? And it means let's freaking go. And you could insert a curse word there, but I will not do that because I am being PG and I don't think I cursed at all. Did I? Curse count? No, because I'm a lady and I don't curse. So let's freaking go. I'm here for this. And he had sent me some other messages. Can't wait for this. I'm a fan. Those are the kind of comments and support that is few and far between. That's not as common as the, oh, I don't know, I checked out or nothing, or a mean comment like, oh, what are you doing? What is that? I don't know, maybe I'll check it out, or thumbs down. So this person is very supportive and someone I went to high school with actually, and I love him. Carrie's yoga journey. So, and that's the thing too. It's like you want to support each other. It's just, it's someone I haven't seen in a long time, kind of the wild card. You went to high school with them, you haven't seen them in so long, and you connect all these years later again, and they're just kind and real and supportive. And it doesn't have to be, but he likes the content, and I like what he's doing. He's a deep person, and he's doing his yoga, and I'm all into the yoga. I've done lots of kinds of yogas in the past. I like the hot yoga. I have a membership to the hot yoga, and I found this yoga studio here in Cleveland. Okay, I have to be honest. I haven't used it in a while because you know what? This place is real. There's the green screen. You're not supposed to see that. Um, it's called Hot Works, and you go in there, and now they don't have this. I've never seen this, and I love it because a lot of if anyone's done yoga out there, I'm sure a lot of people have. You go to the group class, and that's good too because you can meet other people, and you're social, especially you're kind of like a hermit like me. You're always working and stuff. You want to go force yourself. You got to go and meet and see other people and do a class. But when I was like, getting back in shape and we were doing our fast and everything. And I was like, I saw this place and it's only like, a mile or two from the house. And I went there and I didn't see like the typical setup where, oh, where's the class? I got there because it was one of those specials where drop in for a free class, and then, they're always going to talk you into getting the membership or whatever. So I got there and it was all just these little rooms. And I'm like, with TV screens in them. And she's like, no, you just go into there, you push play, and these rooms are hot. They're like little saunas. And you go in there and you book your session on your app before you go in. Okay, I want to do bar yoga. I want to do, there's so many different kinds of yogas. We should get Carrie on here to talk about yoga. And sorry, I hear some chatting in the background there. My attention span sometimes I get off sometimes. If you noticed, it happens. I'm having a show. And sometimes these things happen. 8:10 already. I've been talking for 70 minutes, but I enjoy talking, so it's okay. So back to the yoga, got there. I was so excited about this because it's open 24 hours. I think that's so cool that You could go anytime you want and you book online. So you want to pop in and do like a little class, but it is different. It's not, there's not people there. You get your own little studio, and these classes are hard. And I hear Dan talking on the phone. Sometimes it messes me up. I can hear him. But I've done a few of the classes, and then, it's after you buy the membership that they tell you the yoga mat is not included. And I'm like, well, I have a yoga mat. Can I bring mine? No, you need a special yoga mat. You know how much the yoga mat is? $100 for a yoga mat. And I'm like, I can't. And I just dropped money to get this membership, but they tell you conveniently after you signed up, you get your password, you get your code, you get all your stuff. And then they're like, oh, you need a yoga mat. Well, you could rent one every time for $5. I hate that. And I'm like, I can't just bring the yoga mat I have. Oh, no, you need a special slide resistant one. So I still haven't got my yoga mat, but yeah, that's my hot work story. But anyway, I'm going to start going back. So you know how you get memberships and then you don't use them and you're like, oh man, I signed up. It's a waste of money. But I'm going to get back into the routine. And that's where I started this very beginning of the video of work and life balance. When you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get your business up and running and you're behind the computer 24/7, it is not healthy. You got to have that balance. So the spring cleaning, the spring renewal, finding the balance in life and all that, that's the next step for me to get back away from the computer a bit and back to life and get my routine going again with my yoga and all that stuff. Because I haven't done it in a few weeks and I'm just wasting money and I need to get the yoga mat. So all your tips also may help me get that yoga mat I'm after. At Hotworks, it would be cool to like videotape, going to Hotworks and stuff and showing you, because I never saw that in another city. Scranton has yoga. I used to do a hot yoga there when I lived in Scranton. I would go downtown. Parking was such a pain, I remember. But I did the classes. It was a class, there was people, but I never saw anything like this. And it's really cool. Like at midnight, so I told the story. I'm a late night person. I'm on the graveyard shift. So I'm like, oh, it's 3 a.m. Time for my yoga. I could go to this place and put in my code and go do my yoga in peace. And no one's in the room. So I think that's pretty cool. Cleveland has a lot of cool stuff. Cleveland is awesome. I love it. Especially really good for the kind of the holistic stuff I was talking about. That they have a lot of options. They have those IV drip therapy things. I've done all those too. And I hate needles. Who likes them, I guess. But for the longest time, I hate when it goes in your arm, and I'm trying not to look, and I can never look at it. I'm like, oh, but that goes back to the preventative health and stuff. It's like you do these things now, and you're trying to do alternative ways and health and stuff like that to keep yourself, hopefully to prevent some of life's ailments and things that seem to come as you get older. And, so I keep up on that stuff. And like I was saying yesterday, it's always, unfortunately, holistic health is expensive and it's not covered with a lot of insurance. Some insurance, I think, does cover it now. Like if you have good insurance, you might be able to get like chiropractors and things. I did chiropractor too. I've gone to one and didn't. I said that didn't make sense. I did a chiropractor too, but I've done things like that, like adjustments. Oh, I don't know. That freaked me out. Oh, that's another California story. Honestly, though, it worked. I will say it worked. But I remember when I lived in the UK, okay, back to the UK, right? For some reason during that time, and I don't know if because I was traveling on planes and scrunched up in a bus or whatever, or also I was there was some times that wasn't always great, and I had like stress, and I read that in a lot of stress sometimes will show up in your lower back. Now, I don't know, because God willing, I don't have that pain anymore. I don't have it. But I did end up going to a chiropractor in California. And it was one of those things where they tell you need at least 10 sessions for us to fix this. So I was all about it. I was like, I'll sign up for it. Before I even did the first one, I bought like this whole package, of 10 trips there to the chiropractor. He's like, he does like it's not free, but he does the x-ray of your spine and sees what's happening or what's going on or why I'm having this issue. And he said he saw it. He thought this, he's reading the bones and your things. And so I started with the session and I'm like lying there. I don't know. Has anyone been to a chiropractor? So I lie down and all of a sudden I'm just like, what is it? And I was going to go, and your head just go out. And I was so freaked out because I was like, oh my God, what if he does it wrong and I'm going to be paralyzed? Because I think that's happened too. Like you have to make sure if you are going to one, I guess make sure they're a good one and they're reputable. But I mean, I don't know. Then I got freaked out. And then I thought though, that's just fear. Why am I having this fear? Because there's more probably chiropractors who help people than had those freak accidents. But I think it just freaked me out. And then I was scared every time I went back. I was like, oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. But by the end, it worked. It did. I didn't have that issue anymore. So it did work. So I don't know even how I got off on this tangent, I should say. Like I said, it's weird doing a show alone because normally if I lose track, I'll be like, what was I talking about? And they say, oh yeah, back there. So I don't know. So when that happens, what I do is go to a commercial and regroup my thoughts. This is why it's nice when people are in the chat room because I could talk to you, but there's nobody in the chat room. I don't know if Phil is still there. And apparently I'm not streaming on Rumble, unfortunately. And I can't see any other chats here. So I'm on my own. Oh, no. Here we go. Okay, let's go here. Let's go back to a video. Something I didn't play yet. You enjoying the music? This song always makes me want to move. Here we go. Are you liking the music in this show? The music you hear in my videos and during the show is licensed through Epidemic Sound, an amazing platform for creators. If you make videos, podcasts, or content of your own, head over to hollismahady.com, go to the podcast page, and sign up for a free trial using my link. And if you're just a listener looking for new music, you'll also find my playlist of favorite songs I use in this show. Signing up through my link supports the show and the musicians too. 15 show slots are now open on Voice of the People U.S.A. radio and television network. With millions of monthly listeners worldwide, VOP USA is accessible on Roku TV, Fire TV, Android TV, the mobile apps, and the web. An alternative to oversaturated, algorithm-driven social media. Our network is the first streaming network backed by creators, not big tech, not special interests. This is true independence. To learn more, visit VOPUSARadio.com. Join the network. And here's a little teaser to one of my new songs, Covers. It's my first single I'll be releasing. Life is a gift. And I played this video yesterday. This was the Dr. Wayne clip, but I think it's worth replaying again. It's always a reminder of why I do what I do and why I'm doing this podcast and just here to be a voice. Maybe I'm just on in the background here. Maybe you're cooking dinner, maybe you're not watching it, but you're listening, and maybe it's on the counter. I always used to do that. I haven't done it in a while. When I'd be alone. Like I said, sometimes you're just alone and you want to put the TV on, or I would always listen to podcasts when I would be doing my cooking. Dan probably laughs because I'm not the greatest cook, but luckily I married someone who's a good cook. And my father-in-law is a great cook as well. He makes very good Italian food and roasted red peppers and meatballs and sausage, and it's so good. You guys are good cooks. I lucked out. It's usually the girl who cook, but I have to probably become more of a wife who cooks. I don't think he would eat any of my food anyway. I do like to cook, but it's not traditional things. Like I like to make salads, and when I lived in California, I would get all these vegan cookbooks and vegetarian things and make, all these different like desserts that were healthy, that were like, okay, And I'm still into all this, of course. But like I said, sometimes you just get thrown off track and the ingredients are expensive and all that. But like making these raw vegan desserts. And I would do that because, reading about all the bad preservatives and the chemicals and all this prepackaged food, like for instance, getting donuts and things, which I love donuts. Oh, who doesn't love donuts? I love donuts. What's your favorite donut? Is there anyone out there? Come on, throw me a bone. Tell me your favorite donut because then we can talk about it. Um, oh, why are donuts so good? They're so good. And we live by a place that's voted the best donuts in Cleveland or in Ohio. I think it's all of Ohio, and it's open 24 hours. But I guess, that makes sense. There's always that the cops go in and they get the donuts, but that's always that thing, right? The cops always have their coffee and donuts, but oh, that's definitely one of my biggest weaknesses. Donuts and coffee are, I think, one of the best things. Yeah, maybe not the best things in life, but they are. It's the simple pleasures. It's like, oh, you can't eat it every day though. I mean, I don't, but so anyway, making the vegan dessert. So when I was like, getting all healthy and learning all this stuff, I was like, I don't want to eat all this preservative. This is going to give me cancer. And you got to, you know, do preventative stuff. Like, again, balance, right? Once in a while, have the good donut. Like I was saying in a video, or maybe I said on the stream the other night with coffee. I tried to do the really healthy coffee and all that. And just some things you're gonna risk, I know it's not good to have the creamer with all the sugar in it and stuff, but sometimes you just need your coffee with the good creamer. So there's certain things, but I would make all these like because I had such a sweet tooth. It's a little bit better now. It's not as bad anymore, but I loved sweets. And then we could get into the parasite talk. Oh, do you know what I'm talking about? Parasites and all that stuff in your body, and like they feed off the sugar, and there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff I've learned. I'm actually a certified health coach, in case no one knows, in case anyone out there cares. Um, no, I've done many courses on the body and the health and all that stuff because I think it's important. It's like our body is our vehicle to be on Earth. And there's people you see they take care of their car and they get it on their oil change, which is good. Take care of your car. They're getting it waxed and some maybe women too, but I feel like it's more of a guy thing, like my car, and they're like taking it to get it cleaned and they're getting the rims and this and that, and they're spending all this money in their car. And we don't do the same for our bodies. And literally, without our bodies, we're not here. And people they trash their bodies. When I was younger, I didn't take care. I mean, I did. I always was going to the gym and things like that. Um, but I drank a lot, and that's not good for you. Like the inflammation in your body and stuff, it leads to problems. But especially when you're younger, you're like, oh, I have a long time to go. But as we get more into our middle age, am I middle aged? I guess I don't know. I try to not talk about my age. Oh, but you don't even people don't even know the functions of their organs. What your lymphatic system. Here's a quiz. Anybody know what that does? Why it's important? Anybody know the function of your spleen? These are things that have been in our body since the day we were born. I mean, you can't live without a spleen, I'm pretty sure. You can't live without a pancreas, like all these kidneys, all these important the kidneys you could live without one, but you can't live without a liver, you know. You can't live without these things, and we have these in our body. Thank God. Most people, if again, be grateful. Be grateful. These are things we don't think about, right? You don't even think about that much. That your heart. This is where I think it's so cool. This is where I think life is so cool. Your heart has beat every minute you've been alive. I mean, obviously, you hear that as soon as your heart stops, you're dead. People get shot, their heart stops. My point is, these are amazing things. Like, and we don't stop to think about it that often, right? Oh, my heart's beating. Like, your heart has been so loyal to you ever since the day you were born. Without that, we are not here. So I think that's when those are the weird things I think about sometimes when you think about being grateful for things. Like, be grateful. There's always something to be grateful for, that we have our heart is still beating, and that our things are working. But the human body is amazing. And I'm really annoyed because I had the best book. It was like this whole big book, and I'll get another one. It was called The Human Body, and it had all the fascinating of the veins in your blood and all these things work together to keep us alive. So that's why, because the holistic healing and health and alternative healing and all that stuff, I always kind of associate that people who are awake, who they're kind of like spiritual and they get like the body and the connection and all that stuff. The body is amazing. And we trash it, like, not everybody, but, you drink, you smoke, we're eating crap. Our poor body's like, hello, dude, like, why are you here to kill me here? Like, I'm working, you're gonna kill me. We don't take care of it that much. We take better my point, we take better care of our cars, of our houses, of everything else. And sometimes we neglect our body. And I'm talking too, not preaching or being like, hey, but we do sometimes. Like, this is our sacred vessel, our body, it's our home. It's literally where we live. It's like without that, we aren't here. And it's amazing sometimes when people don't even know what's going on, like what they're, like I said, with what does their lymphatic system do? What do these things do? And it's not judgmental, like, hey, how do you not even know that? I'll have to be honest, I kind of forget what your spleen does, but I know it's important. But these are things we don't think about. But that's why I thought it was amazing when I got into learning about as a health coach. You have to learn these things and the physiology and how many then your muscles and and how it all works together and your blood, and it's freaking interesting. And I never want the one thing, when I got really into it, I remember a couple of people were like, well, why don't you maybe get your nurse's license or something? And I'm just like, oh, I can't, as much as I'm fascinated with it, but I can't even look at blood. Like, I can't, like, I don't wanna give, like, I've given blood before, but a surgery, I throw up, like, I can't look at it. It makes me like, "Oh, I can't look at it." Like, so gory stuff, as much as I'm fascinated with it, I don't wanna do it. I don't know. But I don't know, I think the human creation, what God made, like, and there's people who don't believe in God. I'm like, who are just like, "It was an accident," or, or the science behind it, just believe the science. I'm like, how do you explain that this is not from somewhere else? Like, like, nobody has the answers. Now we're getting to the word I can't pronounce. Philosophical. I've been practicing, not philosophical. Philosophical. These are the questions of life that we will address here on Holistics, if anybody cares or if anybody's watching. But I do. I think life. I think the human body is just amazing. It's amazing. The way things work together. The way, if you get, you get an injury, or the scab comes right, or like you get a wound, and eventually you can heal. It heals itself, and or when you cut your hair, after it grows back, or your fingernails, they grow back. It's like, it's so cool. Does anyone else think it's cool? I mean, again, things we don't think about that often, but taking care of your body and stuff, and preventative health, because as I said earlier, unfortunately, holistic health care and things like that, they're not always covered. And when I had doing better, when I had more money, I never skimped. I never skimped on health stuff. I was like, I'll try that. I'll get the red light therapy bed. I'll put it on a credit card. I'll save up for those vitamins. I'll do that, because I always think you pay now or you pay later. Because if you neglect your body and you don't take care of it now, eventually it's going to be, okay, you got to get this, you got to go to the hospital, you got to get surgeries, you got to get this, and then your insurance, you're paying somewhere. So again, you have to kind of do the best you can, because there's no, like I said, you could drop dead tomorrow, God forbid, you just don't know. But if you can help, and I'm a big thing on preventative care, because I always say there's, you're pushed all these different medicines, and they don't talk nearly as much about how do we prevent cancer. There's, oh gosh, I mean, how many, everybody's lost someone to cancer. I mean, it just seems like there's so much more than there ever was. Well, I remember when we were younger, you would hear about it once in a while. I mean, all you hear about is now and younger people. And then we could talk about turbo cancers and vaccines and all that. I won't get into that right now on this show, but you just don't know. Um, there's so much cancer out there. And cancer is, it's the abnormal grouping of cells and all that, but you feel like everything is cancer because it's abnormal. So whatever's going on. But again, you hear these stories of people who've naturally healed themselves, maybe far and few between, or maybe there's more than we know about, but there's people who don't want to get treatment and stuff if they get cancer. And then they do an alternative route where they do a lot of fasting. I've learned a lot about fasting. Dan does a lot of fasting. I've done the master cleanse. I've done a lot of different cleanses and fasting where you're actually trying to starve it out of you, like you can't get, because cancer feeds on sugar. It feeds on certain things. So if fasting, they say, if you give your body a break, there's nothing to feed on. So if something's growing, it might stop. So again, I'm not a doctor. This is obviously, I'm just, this is my opinion. I'm speculating. These are things I've heard and read. And so if anyone's watching and saying, you shouldn't be saying that, or, this is a disclaimer. We're having a discussion. And I'm basically talking to myself because I don't think anyone's in the chat room there. But, so that's the disclaimer. This is just a conversation, things I've heard. And if if I'm wrong, correct me. But there are a lot. I mean, I've read a lot about these things. I've watched documentaries, and I remember that one documentary about the guy who, I forget what it was called. It was like fat, dead, and nearly dead. It was something like nearly dead. And he started doing a juice fast. It was like different juices or just this one green juice. And he drank it for like 60 days. And he lost all the weight, obviously. But then his whole back, I think he had, I don't know if it was psoriasis. It was something more serious. It was like a skin thing. And by the end of it, according to the documentary, unless they're doing crazy editing, he didn't have it anymore. So, there are miracles and there are things I think that can be done, and people believe, oh, like prayers and everything could heal. I think all of it works into it, but I think the point is holistics and everything. I've always been into alternative healing and health. And I've always been fascinated, not always, but probably when I got into the spiritual side of everything and learning about frequency and energy and all that stuff, it kind of goes hand in hand. You start thinking more about your body and you think more about the other more natural ways. You go back to nature. Like even back in the day, they say, I remember reading a book. I mean, a lot of books, but there was one specific, and I don't know if I still have the book. I have to try to find it. But it was like all these natural doctors were, curing people, and they were doing like, tinctures and herbs and different things, and it was working for some of these people's ailments. And then it was a bunch of doctors saw that they were healing people, and they came in with the money, and and then they made the natural people sound crazy. So, there's a lot to natural healing. I remember, oh, we were talking about this other night. Dan said he had a tooth infection, and this is before I knew him, but he was telling the story on air, and he got, I don't know if he had gone to the dentist or he couldn't afford to go to the dentist at the time or something, and he got whiskey, and he gargled with that whiskey, and he doesn't drink, so but he was just gargling with it, and it worked, and his tooth, it went, his inflammation probably, and it went away. Now whiskey's from nature, right? I'm not an expert again on all that, but isn't whiskey from, what is it from? Like potatoes? I know that's vodka, but but some of these things, but an onion too. It was, it wasn't me, but it was someone else told me the story. They literally tied an onion on their knee. Sounds really weird, right? But it was something with the onion pulled out the toxins or the pain, and they said their knee pain was gone. An onion, aspirin, I know comes from the bark. It comes from the bark of a tree, or it's something with that. But of course, then the farm, they take it and they put it in a pill and they sell that. But actually that comes from something in nature. One of the ingredients that are in aspirin. So it's been a little while. I did brush up on my holistic health stuff, but I remember learning all this stuff, and even the herbal, what's it called? not the herbal, the stuff that you put, the aromatherapy and all that stuff, frankincense and um things like that. Oh, I have a guest. Well, I have ideas for guests. And there was a lady. I love her. Her name is Donna. Donna, I'm going to get you on the show. And Donna started, oh, now I feel bad because I don't, it's just literally lost my train of thought of what her place is called. The Waverly Wellness Center. It's in Pennsylvania, in Waverly, not far from where, and I met her at Inner Harmony Wellness. Oh, I love her. Oh, she would be a great guest. And she does colonics. So we're getting really deep and down to the realness here, down and gritty. Has anyone ever had a colonic? Maybe I should save that for the next time. But anyway, I've done it all. I've done it all. And again, there's controversy about that. Is that bad? Should you get that? And I've done a lot of weird things. People call it weird, but alternative. When I lived in LA, I loved the Turkish bathhouse. Korean bathhouse. I would go to the Korean bathhouse. I've been to the Turkish bathhouse, all of these places. And you go there and you go in all the saunas and the steam rooms, and then you jump in the cold plunge and you're like, oh, and you feel alive. And I would get the body scrubs in Cleveland. I'm pretty sure they have some stuff like that. Again, you got to go to the authentic ones. That is one thing I will say I miss about LA. They had these Korean bathhouses. That was like my day literally the day at the spa, but it wasn't a spa where, as I've been to those too, it wasn't like your typical really like expensive spa where, a massage is like $180 and you get your nails done and your hair done. It wasn't like that, because there's those kind of spas which they really are like, husbands they get their wife a day at the spa. I'll go with your girlfriend. I'll get you a day at the spa, and you get spoiled and you have your, your robe on, and they come out with the tea and the candles, and it's pretty awesome. I like that too. It's cool. I love spas. They're one of my favorite things ever. I love all those treatments. I love massages. Massages are good for you because massages, although they feel good, if you have tension in your back, you're breaking up that tension, those toxins, it's moving that energy. So those are good to get. But the Korean bathhouse and the Turkish ones, the Turkish bathhouse was in New York City. And it was quite an experience. Wow, I love that. But it was co-ed. So you would go there. There'd be guys and girls there, and you had to wear the shirts. You weren't naked there. Now, in the Korean bathhouse, you could go and you just naked because all these girls there. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know, but it was just like, whatever, you're walking around naked and and you're going, you could have a towel if you didn't want to be naked, and no one would care. You're just like, whatever. And you just walk and you go to the spa and you sit there and you sweat and you sweat those toxins out. I would go occasionally I would get sick, you get a cold or you're sick, and you go there and you feel better when you leave. I mean, you're sweating it out, and then you would jump in the pool. And I remember, I'll never forget the Turkish bathhouse. That was the coldest pool ever. I remember I went in there and like my feet hurt afterwards. It was so cold, but it like shocked your body. I was like, whoa. But you would go in there and they would beat you with I never got that because it cost extra, but I never actually did the plaza, it's called. And then you go in there and they like, all these like, and it's authentic. So the people, I think some of them really were from Turkey and stuff. And they were there, the people who worked there, and you would be sweating and you paid the extra. But I always was like, kind of looked at it. I would have paid the extra. I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know why I ever got them, but they hit you with these things. And I don't really know the point of that one. I'm sure there's a reason why they do it, but you'd think you're paying for this, right? And, but the Korean bathhouses and the Turkish bathhouse, very different from your typical spa. So I get excited when I could find an authentic Korean bathhouse. I don't know if they have one here. I think they do, but you're authentic. Well, when I mean authentic, it's more about, it's like you're really getting down to it. You know what I mean? It's not the icing. There's no candles and robes and spa music. It's just like, we're here to sweat. We're getting those toxins out of here. We're going to hit you with things. And, but they all felt amazing when I would leave them. I love them. I love them. If anyone has experienced it, sure, let me know. Let me know your experiences. There's one apparently, I was very excited when I learned this, and we're gonna have to go to it. This is very weird, and try it out, but it's a Turkish bathhouse. I believe it's in Cleveland or a borough. I think it is in Cleveland, and they give you, like, a steak dinner, and you go and you I don't know, you eat steak, but they have the saunas. So I never saw that before. Well, I did actually. At the Korean bathhouse, they would have like a upstairs or it was downstairs. They did have like a little restaurant too, where in between, if you wanted to go and you eat your soup, or because I would make it a day experience. Because you go and you pay like your membership, your daily cost. And this was back when it was cheaper. So it would be like admission fee was $30. You could stay all day. You could just bounce from spa to spa. Now, if you wanted to get like an extra, which I like to get, sometimes I would get the Korean body scrub where they scrub you and you'd see like feel renewed. Your skin is so smooth after it. That cost extra. But I didn't always get that. Or if you wanted to get a massage, of course, that was extra. But again, it was cheaper. It was cheaper. Like a massage is $50. You go to some of these places now. I mean, massage is like $100, but you would go there and I would make a whole day of it. I would just go from like whenever I got there. They were open 24 hours too, which was cool. So like I was always a late night person. So I had a weird life, and I was always like sometimes I would go at 5 o'clock and leave at like 4 in the morning. And you're just in there, your own little world, and then you go in your thing and you have hair dryers and you can do your hair and do all that stuff. Has anyone else been to the Korean bath? Anybody out there? Is there anyone out there? Anyone listening to my story? I am just talk therapy. I don't know. Aw. Anybody? Apparently it's not on Rumble, unfortunately. So that's okay. That's okay. It's unfortunate. But someone will see this replay. Because I would love to know. There was obviously other people at this spa, but I've never met a lot of people who enjoyed them as much as I did. I love them. So Dan and I are going to go to the Turkish spa here and to get a steak, and we're going to sweat. Isn't that interesting? And then that would be my day. I would go there. Like, 'cause I was such a loner. I'm I'm a weirdo. I never let being alone stop me. I was just like, I'm going. I don't know. I had a car. I had freedom. I was like, I have a car. And I was like, I'm going to go where I want to go. And, there was times I had relationships and things like that. But those days I just did on my own. I didn't want to be bothered. I loved it. I would just go alone. And then afterwards I would go either 2 places or 3 places. Sometimes I would stay there and I would eat something there. Like, what would I get? Oh, they had these good Korean bowls, like with the rice and everything. They were good with the hot sauce and everything. Sometimes I would do that. Or this was like the best day ever. I would go do that. I would go downtown to the Korean town, find one of these spas. There was 2. One of them was called U.S.A, I remember. And then there was 2 or 3 other ones. And then after that, I would drive. It was on La Brea, and there was this place called Sushi Ku. I don't know. I'm just like, don't have memory lane with myself. I love sushi too. And then there's things I was like, oh, I don't want to eat raw things because there's parasites, and we'll get into all that. But sushi, I love sushi. And when I first moved to California, there was this place, and I remember this guy took me there, and he's like, no, the sushi's only $3. And he's like, it is really cool. They'll make it front of you. Every little plate, like, because sushi's expensive. So you're like, well, it's only $3. Is something wrong with it? No, it was just, they would do like, I don't know. I think they were smart what they did. They had a business going, was always packed. But you would just go to this place. It was like in this little plaza off one of the main roads there. I remember, I could picture it right now. I love this place. And I think then they changed the name. It might still be there. It was called Sushi Ku. And you would go in, and there was just like this big table, and the chef was in the middle there, the sushi chef. And it was so quick, and you would just look at your thing. Everything was $3.50. Of course, all the prices gone up since. Now I think it's $6 a roll or whatever. But this was a long time ago. And I would be like, and you get your lid, get your pencil. They give you the pencil, and then you just check what you want, and you pass it to them, and they make it do right in front of you, and they're like, boom. And they had something called the dynamite roll. I've never had one like that again. And Dan likes sushi now. When I met him, I was the first one who ever gave him sushi, or like, I had some and I said, why did you try it? But it was from the supermarket. And people who like sushi, the supermarket is never as good. But Wegmans sushi was all right. It's not. You need it fresh, made right in front of you. And he actually liked it. And I was shocked. He's very picky. I was like, if you like this, you're gonna like real sushi. Now, there are really people who are really into sushi, and I'm probably not your, typical real sushi person, because there's certain things I don't like. Like there's the sashimi, and that's real sushi, but that's just like a piece of raw fish. That never did it for me. I wouldn't eat that. I didn't like that. I mean, I've tried it, but it was just weird. Like the texture, I'm just like, well, I don't know. But when they put some of that same stuff in a roll. I guess it's all about presentation or how you can handle it. Because when they put it in a roll, I could eat it. You dip it in soy sauce. So people who have had sushi, they understand this. And if you never had it, you should try it. But there's different. You could get a vegetable roll. It doesn't have to have sushi. It doesn't have to be a raw fish. I would get an avocado roll, a sweet potato roll, and then they do all this fancy stuff. Of course, they make it unhealthy. I think that's the American version, because I have had sushi in Japan, and it tasted, I guess, more fresh. I guess. I mean, obviously they're right by the water and everything. We'll talk about Japan another day, but I've been to Japan. We were talking to Dan's dad about it the other night. I was in Tokyo and I was in Osaka, and it was weird. It was so different. Obviously, everything is like fish and sushi, and even in the 7-Eleven, they're selling sushi, and you won't believe. I always remember this. They had like white fish flavored ice cream, or whale flavored ice cream. I remember this because in the band we had two people who were from Japan, and luckily they spoke Japanese, and they were like showing me all this stuff, and I was like, this is so weird. Weird to us. I mean, that's their culture, so it's different, but it was like, so I remember eating sushi there, but having it in Sushiku, back to Sushiku off of La Brea. And I would just go in there, and they would make the dynamite roll, and they would cook it, and it would inside, I think it was crab and cream cheese, or no, not cream cheese. It was crab and mayo, which I don't like mayo, but the way they did it, I didn't even question. I didn't like want to know what was in it. I just know when I ate it, I was like, oh, it was so good. And they would bake it, and on the top, it was like that caramelized, I don't know if that's the right word, but when you take that little torch and it's like bubbly. I gotta comment. Sorry. But, and then you would dip it in the soy sauce and the little wasabi and the ginger. I've never found one again like that. And I've gone to sushi restaurants, and they all have a dynamite roll. Nothing like Sushi-ku. I hope the place is still there. I went back a couple of years later, and it is still there, or it was, but it was renamed something. It was the same place, and now all the rolls were like $6.50. But that's just, everything's gone up. But those were the days. And then occasionally I would throw in a $25 foot massage, and that was at Oasis Foot Spa on Sunset Boulevard. I'm telling you, these are some of the things in California I really miss. And it was definitely a different experience, a good time. But I was just a weirdo. I would go and like I said, I would just go by myself, and I would go get a foot massage. But you had to get the foot massage, because here was the trick. For $25, you get a foot massage. But they would massage your whole body, your head. I mean, and again, this is why I'm saying there's the authentic, really like nitty gritty, not all the bells and whistles and the icing and the robes and the tea. It was just like $25, and these people, they were good. Like I always asked for a man. Some of the women were good too, but I would get sometimes a girl who was just kind of like light, and I'm like, do it harder. I need it. Like I have knots. I want to feel this. And the guys always did it really good. It was only $25. Again, probably a lot more now, But for 25 bucks, I would give them a tip, a nice tip, of course. So what, like $40 by the end of it? But they would do it so good. They were so good. And I just love that. I love it was just a weird experiences that you don't get all the time. Like they have them. I moved to Las Vegas and they had like those Asian massages and stuff. And I know like the whole, oh, happy ending and all that. I'm not here to talk about that. This is a PG-13 show. It's not rated R. No cursing, no nudity. Um so anyway, shall we take a little break? Here I am talking. I said to Dan, I'll probably just do it, maybe just do an hour. And here I am just talking and talking. And I don't know if anyone's in there watching, but if anything is just stroll down memory lane for myself. Let's play a little doozy. This one's a doozy. Media. Oh, see, I got off a tangent. I never played Dr. Wayne. Okay, you're going to play Dr. Wayne. Here we go.
The next principle I call don't die with your music still in you. And who better to quote than Thoreau right here in Concord when he talked about some of us hear a different drummer and we must march to the music that we hear. But all of you, everybody watching, everybody here in this beautiful parish, all of you have some music playing. And all of you have a heroic mission. There's no accidents in this universe. We all show up here with a purpose. There's an intelligence that is a part of everything and everyone, and all of us are connected to it. And too many of us are afraid to listen to that music and march to it. You out there, I know you have a book you wanted to write. I know there's a composition you wanted to compose. I know there's a song you want to sing someplace. Maybe you want to raise horses out in Montana. Or maybe you want to open up an ice cream shop on Cape Cod. Who knows what it may be. Maybe you just want to travel and see the world. Maybe you want to go into a relationship with someone but you've been afraid to, but your heart says it's the right thing to do. All of us feel something. And in Leo Tolstoy's famous novel, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, he asks this question that would be terrifying to me. He says, as he has his accountant from Moscow lying on his deathbed, contemplating the horror of this question, what if my whole life has been wrong? I've known what my music is. It's playing right now. Next.
I like that video. Aw. See? Yep. And like I talked about yesterday, but that again, if you're just tuning in, if you just happen to stumble upon this or whatever, that was Dr. Wayne. And it's really what the heartbeat of this show is about. I talk about purpose and passion and, finding your purpose in life. And you hear that a lot. And I mentioned earlier, I am a certified health coach. So I have a lot of knowledge about that stuff. But the other thing too, like you could take all these different courses online and all that stuff, but finding your purpose, I have a song called Purpose. I should crack it out. I wrote that in LA. Maybe I'll re-record that. Maybe it'll be on my next album. I got to get this one out first, but I already have a couple songs written for the new album and purpose is, you always hear people, well, what's your purpose? What's your passion in life? What's your purpose? And, Passion Productions came from, that's what I was starting in my attic at Holly's Playhouse. And one day we will name our production company. Everything I do, it's from a place of passion. Get passionate about something and what's your purpose in life? And people spend a long time like, what is my purpose? They don't know. Or maybe they do, but some people are like looking for some meaning. What their passion? What is it? What do you like to do? I think it goes back to what do you love to do? Like, not that you would get paid. It's not that, like, what do you really love doing? Like, I know Dan's dad loves cooking. Like, I know that's a passion of yours. And my dad's passion was golf. He loved golf. And he was always one, he told me, passions, you got to find your passion. And that's why I named it Passion Productions. And my passion was always music, and like I said in some of the other shows and everything, it's not, you try to make money with it and stuff. And even if I never made a dollar again with it, I have made some money, not a lot, but you can't stop doing it. Like Dan's passion. Dan is a great speaker. I mean, he's an activist. That's like his passion. His passion is like he wants to help people, and he gets political and all that. But at the end of the day, something like you wouldn't get paid to do. What is that? Because a lot of times people say your passion doesn't pay. And I've taken classes and read books like how to make your passion pay and all that stuff. But whatever it is, painting or being an artist. And I always say that's why again, I said in that show and the guy said get a normal job and all that. I'm like, whatever. There's things you do have to do to make money if your passion isn't paying. And people say, oh well, it's a hobby if it's not making money and all that. I think the ideal thing for people is to turn their passion into money, right? So you're actually getting paid to do what you love. Because how many people many more than not hate their job? It's not their passion. They don't want to do that. They're doing it because we have to pay the damn bills. Too many musicians don't get paid for their work, and it's hard. It's very competitive and all that. And some people make it. They get the big break. They make a lot of money and they're good. But there's people. That's why I've always had a soft spot and for musicians, and because it's something you didn't pick it and you can't stop. I mean, the people who really do it not for fame and fortune and all that. And if people try, you want to make money, you want to get that break, you want to get paid for it because then you could keep doing it. Because otherwise, you have to stop. I mean, not all the way. You could still play at night or whatever. And hear that. Don't quit your day job. You got to go get the day job to pay for the bills to pay for your passion. But again, like that's what I think a lot. Everyone wants to turn their passion into something that pays them, something they love to do. And like I said, I think everyone here has a purpose. And some people, it maybe not be so obvious, but you don't have to have some purpose like, oh, I'm a songwriter or something. Like a lot of people's purpose, they have kids and they have, I don't have any kids, but raising another good human, that's their purpose, their passion. And yeah, so this show is all about. It's reminding people, and that's why I like to play that Dr. Wayne clip. And I play it a lot. Like, don't die with your song still in you. For me, it's a song, but for other people, it might be something else. And it's get that out. And because he said at the end, what if you deny yourself what truly lives in your heart? And it is hard in this world to be able to pursue those things sometimes and to survive. It's a miracle that I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still hanging on by a thread here, guys. If you want to tip me, buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. Every dollar helps. And, but you gotta, if you can, stay true to yourself because, you don't want to deny yourself what lives in your soul. That's what this podcast is about. It's all about souls. I played the Billy Joel song yesterday. It's all about soul. It's all about heart. It's all about passion. That's to me. And some people, as I said earlier, don't think like that. They don't believe there's anything else in life. And we're here to accumulate things and then, and materialism and all that. And like I said, it's great. Great. I want to have a nice house again someday and then all that. Why not? Like, it's not like, oh, it has to be one or the other. You have to play the game of life. If you're smart, you could have both. But we're all working towards our, our dreams and things like that. But anyway, I've been talking for a long time. It's almost 9:00 already. So there goes 2 hours. And I am Hollis Mahady, and you are listening to Hollistics. Maybe you will see clips of this afterwards that I post. Maybe you won't because the AI robots are saying, nope, you have not cracked the algorithm. I just got to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to post things and not even look at if anyone's watching the views and stuff. So, because we're going to get that all figured out, there's no rhyme and reason to the freaking people say, oh, there's a code and it's not just a mirror. It's not just there's a method to it when you put it out on TikTok and YouTube. I don't know. And YouTube and TikTok and the shorts and all that. I had one video has 1,000 views and then the same video almost looks the same. It's a different clip. It's a 0. I mean, what? I don't know, but I just don't have the time to sit there and try to break through all the noise. I wish I did, but maybe that's what this other system and these AI or these assistants and this AI stuff will gonna help me do because I need help. I do need help. Everybody needs help. We can't do it alone. But let's see. I'll see if there's anyone else in the chat. And there's no one else in the chat. I don't know if Phil is still here. I don't think so. But thank you, everybody, so much again. And we are getting towards that $100 goal, and I will be giving away the lyric painting. So, if you just stumbled upon me, you scrolled past, or you ended up staying and you tuned in for, I don't even know what we talked about. We talked about a lot of stuff, or I talked about a lot of stuff from cats to spas to sushi to the miracle of life to the human body to our spleen to what else did we talk about? This sometimes I'll watch it back. I'm like, I remember saying that, But to the comments of the day, a big shout out to Carrie, Yoga Carrie, who does the right way. He's very supportive and a good human, a good soul. We talked about the comment of the day. Let's see how many times I said, I got to get a ticker. How many times I say, I say it a lot. And I had $1 for every time I said, you'd be seeing my face all over YouTube. I'd have 1 million followers. But that's all right. We will get there. And for all those out there who might have stumbled across this, who are watching this at this moment, I am Hollis Mahady. You're listening to Hollistics. You've been watching and listening to Hollistics. If you like what you see and hear, you can go to www.hollismahady.com. You can sign up for my email list. Make sure you do that because I'm going to start sending out an email, or maybe the AI guy or the robots will do that for me. An email every day saying, hey, you missed the episode last night. Here it is. Or, hey, I'm going to be on live tonight. So sign up for my email list. If you are on YouTube, this isn't on YouTube, I don't think. But you can put a little notification so you get dinged every time I go live. There's a bell or something like that. And you could stay in contact like that. But the best way really is email, because I am going to start emailing. Anyone who's on my email list, you'll start getting emails. So hopefully by Monday, we'll be starting sending out emails of the upcoming shows, like tune in tonight at 7, here's a link or whatever. And, also the library of the past shows. So that's what you have to do. And yeah, in the meantime, like I said, head over to buymeacoffee.com. If you enjoyed the show, you do a tip, anything, $1 more, sign up to be a member, anything, you will be entered to win. Here we go. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Well, it's my lyric sheet. And you could buy my music collection. The band I talked about, Love Zombies, a lot. 30 plus songs, all for $20. So they're good music. I don't do that style as much anymore, but they were very catchy songs. They were on the radio. I had music videos. I did that. There's a lot there. And you can win the lyric sheet. There's the lyric sheet. There we go. And I will give you the chance, just in case you're waiting to tip. Here you go. You could scan that. Okay. So, again, I will be back tomorrow night for episode number 6 of Hollistics. And tomorrow night, I will be going live at 7 o'clock like I do every night now. This is like I said, this is episode 5. And this is a whole stretch of doing it 7 nights a week because I started on a weekend. But then I'll be taking the weekends off and we'll be doing Monday through Friday. You can see me here at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And I am telling myself and vowing to show up and be consistent and show up for the people who show up for me. And it's going to get a lot more fun. I know it will. I mean, I'm saying it's not fun now, but when there's more people and things are more connected and people are finding it's, I know, because we have a lot of fun shows with Dan's show and stuff, because he's been doing it forever. So he has people in the chat room more and they're chatting, and it's always, because the conversation goes in different directions when people pipe in. Like that's with the dog. He was talking about earlier about his dog Flash and stuff. And we started to talk about dogs. So it's always better when there's more people in the chat room chatting. And then I feel like I'm not like so alone here. But I'm also here for you. I'm here to give you that voice and the connection. And maybe I'm just keeping you company while you cook dinner and you're listening to in the background. But thank you for having me in your living room or on your phone or wherever you have me. And you've been listening to Holistics. And again, I will be back tomorrow night. So I hate to say goodbye, but I guess I have to say goodbye. But I'll be back tomorrow. So you guys out there listening, I love you. Thank you for all those who've supported so far. Share the show. Thank you, Smurgs, for sharing the show. It helps. Share it out to someone who you think might need it, who might be interested. Certain episodes they might like more than others. They're like, who's this girl talking about being new to the Korean bath and the sushi and your heart's beating every day and all that stuff, some people might be into it. Share it out. Certain things, sharing is caring. Sharing helps. Tipping helps. But just being here helps. So I love you all very much. I am Hollis Mahady, hollismahady.com. Thank you for tuning into Holistics. And I will see you tomorrow night. Now I'm going to play my outro here. Now, if I just push end stream, it's supposed to play the song. So I'm having a hard time saying goodbye. Maybe I should stay. No, I will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And have a great day tomorrow. Always remember, try to find something you're grateful for. Remember, if you're seeing, if you're breathing, if your heart's beating, you have something to be grateful for. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Signing off, I'm Hollis Mahady, and you've been listening to Holistics. Okay, now I gotta play the outro. That didn't go as smooth as it's supposed to. I thought I was gonna play it. Let me just play the goodbye. I'll try that one more time. I am getting practice. Let's do it one more time. That'd be my closing tagline. This is Hollis Mahady, and I'm signing off, and you've been listening and watching Holistics. See you next time. Thank you for watching Holistics, hosted by me, Hollis Mahady. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. You can make a one-time donation or become a member for just a few dollars a month to get extra podcasts and exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. Or simply scan the code on the screen. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating independent content for you. If you like the music featured in this show, I license it through Epidemic Sound. You can head over to hollismahady.com, click on the podcast page, and use my link for a free trial. And don't forget to check out VOPUSARadio.com, where I host my music channel and am building a growing community of independent musicians. If you're interested in joining the network, just click Join Network and submit an application. Until next time, remember that you are loved and never alone. From human to human, big hugs. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outro video. I love this song.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kind of hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I could finally see when the lights go out. Everything is clearer when the lights go out. I could finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror when the lights go out. It's you looking back at me. Hope. Try your best to hold on to the rope. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't.
Thank you for watching Hollistics, hosted by me, Hollis Mahady. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. You can make a one-time donation or become a member for just a few dollars a month to get extra podcasts and exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. Or simply scan the code on the screen. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating independent content for you. If you like the music featured in this show, I license it through Epidemic Sound. You can head over to hollismahady.com, click on the podcast page, and use my link for a free trial. And don't forget to check out VOPUSARadio.com, where I host my music channel and am building a growing community of independent musicians. If you're interested in joining the network, just click Join Network and submit an application. Until next time, remember that you are loved and never alone. From human to human, big hugs. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outro video. I love this song.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kinda hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, Try your best to hold on to the rope. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't.